Today I'd want to discuss a subject to which I believe we can all relate, the fear of failure. You know that sensation in your stomach when you're ready to attempt something new and you start thinking about all the possible outcomes? That's failure anxiety seeping in. But here's the thing, my friends. It's perfectly normal to feel terrified. Fear is a normal aspect of life, and it is frequently our mind's method of shielding us from potential danger. Nevertheless, when that fear begins to prevent us from following our goals and objectives, it's time to take action. That is why I want to share some advice and tactics for overcoming the fear of failure with you today. We'll discuss why it's critical to overcome this anxiety and how to reframe failure as a learning opportunity. We'll speak about creating realistic objectives, taking action, accepting flaws, and practicing self-compassion. So prepare to take notes and perhaps even move outside of your comfort zone. It's time to face your fear of failure head-on and emerge stronger and more resilient. Let's get this party started. Now, let's get down to business with this fear of failure thing. To defeat it, we must first understand it. And let me tell you, this dread may present itself in some unexpected ways. Sometimes it's just a nagging voice in our heads telling us we're not good enough. Other times, crippling worry prevents us from even attempting. But here's the thing, we're not alone in our anxiety. It's a common human experience, and accepting it may be liberating. We may begin to conquer fear if we acknowledge it and understand how it affects us. So, what precisely is this failure fear? To put it simply, it is the worry of failing to fulfill our own or others' expectations. It's the fear of being evaluated or chastised for making mistakes. And guess what? It is entirely normal. We all want to be liked and loved, and we all want to succeed. The issue arises when this anxiety becomes so great that it prevents us from even attempting. That's when we need to take a step back and look more deeply at the fear. What does it truly mean? Is it based on previous experiences or just speculative? Understanding our fear of failure allows us to identify when it is holding us back and take action to overcome it. It's like flashing a light into a dark corner. Once we see what's there, it's no longer as frightening. Now, let us go deeper into this dread to see what we can find. It's time to broaden our horizons, guys. Let us reframe failure as a learning opportunity rather than something to be afraid of. That may sound easier said than done, but stick with me here. Consider this, some of the most successful people in history have failed at some time in their lives. Instead of giving up, they exploited their setback to learn and improve. They regarded it as a springboard to further success. I'm not claiming that failing is simple or enjoyable. I understand how painful it may be. Nevertheless, if we can begin to perceive it as a normal part of the learning process, we can relieve some of the strain. It is less about avoiding failure and more about accepting it as an essential element of our development. Therefore, how can we reframe failure as a chance to learn? To begin, we must change our emphasis from the outcome to the process. Rather than focusing on the final outcome, we might concentrate on the actions we're doing to get there. What did I learn from this experience? We may ask ourselves, or what can I do differently next time? Secondly, we may work on our self-compassion. We are typically our harshest judges, and this may make failure feel much scarier. Yet if we can be kind and sympathetic to ourselves, we can lessen the sting of failure. We may remind ourselves that it's all right to make errors and that we're still worthy and capable even when we fail. Thus, instead of being afraid of failure, let us strive to embrace it. It may not be easy, but it may be extremely liberating. Give ourselves freedom to fail and learn from our mistakes. Who knows what type of prosperity and progress awaits us on the other side? So my friends, it's time to speak about setting goals. Realistic goals, not just any goals. You know what they say, if you shoot for the moon, you'll land among the stars. However, let's be honest, if we establish unreasonable targets, we're just setting ourselves up for failure. It is not to mean we should create goals that are overly simple. We want to push ourselves, but in a reasonable and achievable way. So, how can we find that happy medium? First and foremost, we must be honest with ourselves about our strengths and limits. It's wonderful to have lofty goals and ambitions, But we must also be realistic about what we can do with our existing talents and resources. Second, we must divide our goals into smaller, more doable tasks. Rather of attempting to complete everything at once, we may concentrate on the specific activities that will bring us there. Not only does this make the objective more realistic, but it also provides us with a sense of progress and momentum. Finally, we must be adaptive and flexible. Our goals may need to alter as a result of new knowledge or situations. It doesn't mean we've failed, it just means we need to change our strategy. Finally, we must recognize and appreciate our accomplishments, no matter how minor. Every step we take towards our objective is a victory, and we should recognize and celebrate it. Therefore, let's set some achievable goals and develop a strategy to attain them. It's not the most glamorous technique, but it's a proven strategy to ensure our success. It's time to get to work, people. We've discussed how to overcome our fear of failure by viewing it as a learning opportunity and setting realistic goals. Yet none of it matters until we really do anything. Taking action may be frightening, especially if we are frightened of failing. Yet it's the only way we'll get closer to our objectives. Thus, in the face of terror, how do we act? Secondly, we must divide the work into tiny, achievable parts. This not only makes the work less intimidating, but also provides us with a clear plan of action. Also, we must take that initial step, no matter how tiny. Sometimes the most difficult aspect is simply getting started. Nevertheless, once we take that initial step, we get momentum and it becomes simpler to continue. Thirdly, we must remember that making mistakes is normal. In reality, making errors is a normal part of the learning process. Hence, if we trip or fall, we can get back up and resume moving forward. Fourth, if we require assistance, we may request it. We are not required to go through it alone. Asking for help demonstrates strength, not weakness. Finally, we must be persistent. Taking action is not a one-time event. It is something we must perform on a continuous and persistent basis in order to reach our objectives. Let's speak about accepting imperfections now. We've discussed how to reframe failure as a learning opportunity, create realistic objectives, and take action.